You're dead.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
What makes you say that?
Because you're here.
Hmm.
It's the last thing you remember.
That's the exact thing, what I'm doing.
Fixing your makeup.
Yep. Being ready to go on the stage and almost get blinded by these bright lights.
Are you often on stage?
I was.
So you're an actor.
I am.
Tell us about that.
When the first time I told my mom and dad I want to be up on the stage, they were so mad at me. And I persisted. And up until I was young enough to still be fascinated by the glam, they didn't want me to come in this industry. They thought it was kind of a weird lifestyle.
Weird how?
Bohemian. For them that was weird.
What was bohemian about it?
I have no idea. Probably I need to find them here in the crowd to ask them what they thought of that.
What did they want for you?
They probably wanted the best. What is best for them?
And what was that?
Maybe just go to school, take a couple of classes, get married, get few kids, and be at home.
That's not what you wanted.
No.
What did you want?
I wanted a good lifestyle. I wanted to fall in love. I wanted to be up on the stage and have the glamour and have everybody like me and love me.
Why?
You're asking for a long answer.
You've got plenty of time.
I think probably I'm looking for something I didn't get from my family. Love.
They didn't love you?
Pardon?
They didn't love you?
I don't think so.
Why?
Looked like my father didn't want me. And they had me when they didn't need it.
What does that mean?
My mom felt, and that's not what something she directly told me, but she had me, she conceived, and they were in constant fight. So obviously she didn't want a child to make things more complicated. And so they were conceived. I was conceived, and that's that. And their fight became more frequent. And my father found somebody else. And it was never the same. It was always weird. We had the money and we didn't have the money. I never understood. What am I to them? Really. But I had the stage. Why limit to just 2 people? I had the whole world watching me. So that's what I dreamt for. And that's how I was up on stage often.
Let's go back to your parents. You never felt wanted?
Yeah, there were times. When I look back, I remember the good times. I remember going on a boat, anchoring the boat, and fishing the whole day with my dad on rare occasions. I felt so loved. That was my time with him. He enjoyed fishing. And that's how I started loving the lake. Because my time with my dad on that boat was quiet, still, and those moments were beautiful. That's what the lake represents to me.
Your father?
Yeah, the father probably I had and I did not have. Both.
On the lake, you had him.
Yes, he was with me with no distraction. And just the seagulls flying by.
But when he wasn't on the lake, did you have him?
Yes.
He was distracted elsewhere?
No,
Not on the lake.
not on the lake.
But when he was not on the lake, what was he like?
He wasn't mean to me. He did not treat me badly, but he did not want me as his daughter. I really don't know what the problem was. And then he deserted us.
How old were you?
I was 14.
Do you have any siblings, brother, sister?
No,
What happened to your mother when he left?
when I say no, actually I had a brother. And he died. He died.
Wow. After your father left, your mother, what happened to her?
She was always in a bad mood. Sometimes she tried to take it out on me. She doubted everything I was doing. She actually was a good person. But I was too young to understand what happened between them that left her so disinterested in life. disinterested in me. She did teach me a few things. I'm not saying there were not good moments. But I guess I miss my dad more because I didn't have him. And my mom was always there with me.
Angry at you?
But yeah, there are times I get angry and mad and upset. And I've also fought with her for things she didn't do, for the things that didn't happen in my life. And I still do. To think about that. That all was not her fault. She did try to raise me, she did try to provide whatever she could. I could have been nicer to her. Because he was not there for me, but she was. But I guess your mind always goes to the things that you didn't get. And we forget to appreciate what we have and accept it in the form or shape that it is there for you.
What was your mother angry about?
Just life and the way it turned out. It started off well, I guess.
Were they in love, your parents?
I think so. It started off well.
Do you know the story?
No. No. I don't think so.
Your brother, was he older or younger?
His older brother.
Were you close?
I don't remember. I just wish he was there, someone my own.
So you were young when he passed?
Yeah. I wouldn't have felt lonely if he was there to share the life with me. Today when I'm saying today, I still feel like I'm living. In the lonely days, I would have had somebody to share my frustration, and he would know where it is coming from. And maybe he would have had some wisdom for me. So not all the family would have been lost.
What frustration do you feel?
Just, I had no guidance other than life lessons. And then you drown and you drown and you drown until you think there is a hand there to pull you up, and he pulls you out to come up. You're overjoyed. You're overjoyed.
Who pulled you up?
Castillo.
Who was he to you?
Mm. I was in love with his writing.
What about it?
I guess it's just the age. He was a prolific writer. Well behaved, well groomed, stable, rich, creative. He was everything I aspired to be.
So in him you saw a dream. Your dream.
How do you mean?
What you aspire to be. Is that your dream, to become rich, talented, groomed?
Yes. Everything at once I wanted.
You were in a rush.
I was young.
To be young is to be in a rush.
Guess there's blood rushing in your body.
So tell us how you discovered acting.
The first boy I fell in love with was a writer too. He was also a director. He came from a family of well-known actor that was a mother and a successful businessman that was his father. And he was the first one who asked me to act in his play. And I was overjoyed. And I was infatuated. Until I met Castillo.
So you were in love with one man and then fell in love with another.
No, I was infatuated with one man and in love with other.
Explain the difference.
It's just the first thing that who asked me came like a fresh breath. I was young.
How old?
And then I was 18 when I did my first play. He was a nice guy, well-meaning. Somehow in his writing, there was uncomfortable sadness. None of his characters were living characters. Go figure.
What do you mean his characters were not living?
All his characters were, none of them were living characters. They were dead people or, I don't know, it was very sad writing. He just, I don't know.
So why did you agree to do the play?
Because he was the first person who asked me to come and act. I was invited to do something I dreamt of doing.
Was this in your hometown?
Yes, it was a small town.
Was this exciting?
The play? Yeah.
But acting was more exciting.
I don't know what to make of that, you know.
What did it feel like to be on stage for the very first time?
It was scary as hell. Because to see my first play, there was this guy who was invited, Mr. Castillo. He was a most successful writer, a fiction writer.
What was he doing there?
He was invited by my boyfriend's infatuation's mother. She was a very renowned actress, and she was watching it too.
What was she like?
She was interesting. You know what was interesting? That she would care about my career, that I should have time, my parents should give me permission. But she did not give her son the permission to explore art the way he saw it. Sad. She always put him down. You know what I realize? Now that I have time to think about the things in the world and the life I lived, that many times people are mean to other people, or they don't wish them well because there's something hurting inside. Most of the people, they are unhappy with themselves, and that's why they are treating others badly. But I wonder, it makes young people think badly of themselves.
What do you think was bothering her?
Phew, go figure. I met her when she was in her past 50s, 55. Her career was almost done, to say. And she was still in that, she never left left the actress alone. She was always in that zone. Only she was always sitting in the center of all the glitter and glamour. She carried herself very well.
Was she insecure?
She was able to hide her bitterness. How about that?
What was she bitter about?
About people not wanting her anymore, probably.
She felt left behind.
That's about right.
Do you know that feeling?
Yeah.
Meaning?
I've been there. But it's not the same feeling she had. There's a difference.
Tell us.
When you start seeing insecurity, when you start seeing sadness, when you see sarcasm, there are layers of it. Every layer represents different intensity. It's coming from somewhere else. What she felt was after enjoying the glory. What I felt was the pain of not being mentored, not meeting the right people, sometimes not being good at my craft. And sometimes is not being appreciated. That mixed with rejection, loneliness. So it's not just acting, I would say. It's life. It's what you go through.
Why do you think you didn't have those opportunities?
Because my parents didn't want me to be in this place
So your mother just never allowed you.
They never encouraged me. They never guided me.
So you were left on your own,
Yeah.
like your father when he left you on the lake.
Yes. And he left and he took all the money and gave it to my stepmom.
Did you ever see him again?
No. He left the place. He went somewhere else. And we didn't know where he was.
You never looked for him?
No. I did not. But I looked for him in every man that I met. Also in Castillo.
But you never found him.
Maybe a little bit. Everything looks like has an expiry date.
You never wanted to find him, not the man in him, but him.
Say that again?
You never went looking for him, actually.
No, he came in my life. He saw me on stage. I spoke with him. And I was just attracted to him.
What about him attracted you?
I told you. Everything.
Everything.
His writing, his demeanor, he being secure.
But he broke your heart.
He did.
Why?
Because I wasn't his muse anymore.
You met a new muse?
I think he saw a muse in me. And when he stopped getting the ideas and the creativity and the new shades of life that he wanted to see with me,
What did you do?
I wanted a child so badly. Because I wanted to do you mind if I
You wanted
Would
a
you-
child.
okay? This is hard. I wanted to have a child because I wanted to be the mother I would have loved to have. So we had a hard time getting pregnant. And so I kind of became sad and agitated, which he didn't like. And then I conceived, and then I was bedridden. And then my child was born. And it was a stillbirth. And I lost that child. And then I was depressed. And I didn't know what it was. I was just aloof. I didn't feel like talking to anybody. I didn't feel like being romantic. I didn't want to be in bed with him. The world just shut for me. And so that wasn't somebody he wanted in his life. And of course he found another muse.
And what happened to you?
How do you mean?
Where did you go? What did you do?
After that?
Yes.
You know, when you push somebody into a corner, then you're struggling to survive. And I did struggle to survive for a long time. And slowly, I went back to my profession. After a gap, it was hard. I had no confidence. People had no confidence in me. So I struggled. But I made it. You know, the interesting thing that I have learned, which I wish to tell anyone and everyone who is in my predicament, that you are there for yourself. And when you see life, it teaches you, it gives you maturity, and you use that as your instrument up on stage and approach the characters, live their life, even if I couldn't live my own life the way I wanted. I look at my profession as a chance to be in somebody's skin, for a while, wear a borrowed cloak and try and understand their life. That's the another way to love your profession if you're an actor.
So you were bad at life, but good on the stage.
Not always. I've done atrocious work.
Talk about it.
You know, in a rush to show it all, you tend to overdo. And when you don't have mentors, you just go by what you think is right. That is not necessarily the best choice, but you go about doing that. And then you are a loud actor, unnecessary. We used to call it $50 acting for a $10 ticket. I've done it a lot.
What does that mean?
That you only needed to act worth $10. You started acting for $50 ticket.
Is that overacting?
Yeah. That's our kind of a insider joke that I'm letting you in on.
What did it feel like to know that you were overacting, that you weren't good at your profession?
Terrible. When I actually overacted, it wasn't terrible. When I realized that it was overacting, it was unnecessary, it was fake. And it was fake because I was trying to do it because I wanted this thing and that thing and that thing, and I wanted all the praise. I didn't do it for the pleasure of living a character. I did it for all the other reasons but this. I realized that, and I came back to acting one more time. I call it my second chance.
Tell us about it.
It was hard because I wasn't young anymore. So I had to adjust my dreams accordingly, which meant I may not get the lead parts. I won't be treated as a lead part. That's other. I won't be as important on stage. Not until I made it back into the career in a good way. It felt like an uphill battle. But believe me, all those experiences, getting kicked out of somebody's life, not getting what I wanted, understanding that I misunderstood life, I think that brings kind of maturity to a person. You know, it's like focusing on this flame until the whole world kind of dissolves and it's only me. And I learned to be with the character like that. That's when I knew I'm a real actress. And interestingly, once I became that, all I needed was that. Everything else that I wanted before was unimportant. I wish I was a poet, so I could write all this and make it sound good.
Sounds fine the way it is. So you love your craft.
I do. I love my craft.
What is your fondest memory of your craft?
people coming backstage and crying obsessively to tell me how they were moved and that it felt real. And it went so close to their own experience that they couldn't separate it. And they saw me as them and they as me. I don't know how to say this in a better language, but they saw me, they saw them in me. There was a lady, there was a play I had done. I guess I was playing that character and I went through the horrendous experience of wanting to be a mother and losing my child. It was only to play that character. It was a very dramatic, interesting story. If you want, I can amuse you with that.
Please.
So it's a story of a couple who cannot conceive. And the doctor tells them that you cannot have child. And the father understands. He probably accepts it. But the woman, she is devastated. So devastated that she just cannot accept. How come? Like even rats can have so many babies after babies after babies. And why can't I have one child? I want it so bad. I'm sorry, I was telling you a story. So, this clever woman, to fight her void, brings an imaginary child home and she lives the rest of her life with that child. And she has everything. She has washed his socks. He has come back from a playground. They stink. He has bruises. She scolds her to be protective. She asks him to be nice to people who are coming to his house. She paints everything. She has kept toys from he was in a bassinet till he was 7, 8 years old. She has preserved everything. So she actually lives that life. And she refuses. And one day, she even talked to her husband as if he was her son. So the husband realizes that there is no privacy left and he calls help from a psychiatrist. It was a brilliantly written play. A role to die for. I was meant to do that. And I lived that character. And I did many characters.
And the show was a great success?
To an extent, I would say. It was a difficult play to watch. Very dramatic. It was a great experience. Then I played a character, a funny comedy play. She was a lady, an actress, gets into a household. There are about 4 men. of all different generations. And she just, she's just playing with them to see what is morality? How much do they value this relationship of getting married? And finds out how weak men are. During that play, I started smoking. I guess bad habits die hard.
Are men weak?
They are.
Why?
They are weak. They need women to make them feel good.
A man can't feel good without a woman.
Say that again.
A man cannot feel good without a woman.
They are full of themselves. They fail to see beyond themselves. A woman, because she can bear a child, she's extraordinarily creative and nurturing, and God has made her in a way that she can really see beyond herself, because she can only see the child.
Did you ever go back to your lake?
I did.
And how was that?
Bittersweet. I have shared all my life with the lake. I would sit there and talk to my lake.
What would you tell
And
your
the
lake?
seagulls, they were still there. Still waiting on that lake.
What would you tell your lake?
That thank God you were in my life. Because it's constant, it's still.
Was it the
It's a
only,
big power right in front of me. It didn't want to be anybody, for anybody. It just is. That's the lake.
is it the only constant in your life?
I would think so. And maybe the seagulls, they're everywhere.
What do you like about them?
Many things. Do you know about seagulls?
Not enough to...
Seagulls can drink lake water. They can also drink salt water. You know, they have this special gland that purifies the water for them. Magical. They are opportunists. They also eat anything that comes their way. They're just beautiful. They can breed any season, anywhere. To travel far and come back to rest at their place again.
They sound like you.
In a way.
Which way?
That I keep coming back to where I belonged.
You feel like you belong at the lake?
Yes. I do.
What's the last thing you remember before you died?
That the big royal company, the biggest playhouse, I played the character of this mother. That was the last thing I remember. Being surrounded by fans, critics, sometimes they are good, sometimes they are not. They have their own agenda sometimes. But I totally believe when the audience comes to you, they don't have any agenda. They come to watch something and immerse themselves in this make-believe world. And they give you their true appreciation. And they tell you like it is. Because they have nothing to lose, I guess. I remember that love. Yeah, things happened, few plays I did after that didn't work well, but that's the last impression I had.
Did you feel like your audiences loved you?
In the last few years, yes, they did.
What will you miss
What will I miss?
about this life?
This. Being up on stage, wearing different hats, and being the character.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.